The lasting impact of UTSA baseball will not be equated in box scores, stats, and record books. The ripple effect through the generations will be made with the kind of man you are. Long after the diploma has been handed to you, who are you going to be? The test of responsibility. That's the first one. The second test that Nehemiah passes through, and the mountain that each one of us is going to have to climb in 2010 and 11, if we are going to reach the summit, if we're going to feel the air of the summit, if we're going to see the views that nobody else in this conference can see, it's going to be through the test of commitment. 1925 Nobel Prize winner for literature was George Bernard Shaw, writer of over 50 plays and a leading figure in the 20th century theater. He was asked by reporters shortly after his death this question: if you could live life over and be anybody you have known or any person in history, who would you be? I would choose, replied Shaw, to be the man George Bernard Shaw could have been, but never was. Could have beens are hard pills to swallow. With visions of grandeur filling your mind in the now, and the then being our goals at the end of May, June, whatever. What can we expect of you between the now and the then? That dashed line between birth and death, that's where life happens. That's where commitment takes place. That same line between 2010, 2011, what will be said of us beyond its completion? It all seems a piece of cake and sweet smelling roses from the mesquite room a quarter mile from the baseball field. But what stands between you and your goals and us and our goals is simply one thing, and it's the path of commitment. And quite honestly, many men are going to join up and want to travel that road. Every college baseball player in America is sitting in some mesquite room, some quarter mile from some baseball field. And you know what they're talking about? Is getting on a road and traveling down that road. And you know how many hands are going up? Every single one. But in November, when it stinks at 6 a.m., how many hands are going to go up? In February, when your hamstring is tweaked, how many hands are going to go up? In April, when we're fighting for first or fighting to make a tournament, I don't know, how many hands are going to go up? Freshman to senior, August to May, practice to practice, repetition to repetition, at-bat to at-bat, this pitch to the next one. Dashed lines. It's the key to your season, the dashed line. It's a hard reality when we sit together in May at our final meeting and recall the could-have-beens. Doesn't mean every year we have to finish with a ring and a trophy. I'm not preaching that message. I want to. I want to build the wall. I want to build the championship wall. I want to stand on top of that thing. I want to see the view, feel the air. I want to do all that. But not every season ends that way. But let me tell you, what does it mean? There is pain and regret. Regret of challenges unmet, regret of commitments not made, regret of what might have been had we just filled in the blank. A lot of different answers in that blank. Hindsight is always 20/20. Picking up the story of Nehemiah. I don't know the day it happened. Doesn't say. I don't know what kind of fanfare. Did they throw a parade in the big city? I don't know. Did they, whatever, Did they have drummers leading the army out? I don't know. But a man got on his horse and in the company of the king's men set off for a city. Not one Jew in that city or scattered about knew he was coming. He didn't send out letters. He didn't pop an email out. It wasn't tweeted out. Oh, whatever they did in their day, nobody knew. Not one person knew of his plan. One man knew of the plan. It was in his mind. It was in his heart. It was a vision. He was on a mission to get somewhere. Along the road to Jerusalem, he encounters two governors of the region who express their dislike against the king's letters and this army that was following behind. And the purpose behind his travels was to help the Jews. They wanted no part of that. He arrives as a stranger in his homeland in the midst of nightfall and goes out at nightfall with a couple of guys and surveys the broken down wall and begins to make the plan under nightfall. And from prayer becomes the plan, and that plan becomes under the guise of night and the moonshine right there. He starts making the plans. It's then he delivers a challenge to the Jewish remnant, those who are still remaining. And it's in chapter 2, verses 17 and 18 of Nehemiah. And he rallies the men to greatness with this. Very simple. So I said to them, you see the trouble we're in? Jerusalem lies in ruins and its gates have been burned down. Come, let's build Jerusalem's walls so that we will no longer be a disgrace. And that remnant said, let's start rebuilding. And they were encouraged to do this work. That was it. Wasn't a howdy-rowdy bash. Wasn't a pep talk. Wasn't a State of the Union address. Wasn't some big time, hey, I'm in town, let's get this done. It was one man with a vision and a passion and a plan. When a man has a purpose and that purpose is evident in word and deed, people want to be around that kind of man. If you're that kind of man in your life on the baseball field, there will be other guys gravitating to you. And I guarantee you on the championship teams around America, there will be a bunch of those men locked arms for 9 months. And they will go through for whatever it takes to get there. When a man has passion, when a man is fully committed, when a man has the courage to rally troops and confront problems and nip them in the bud right there when they need to be nipped, people rally around that guy. That's what makes a leader. And whether that leader has what it takes or whether he thinks he does or doesn't, people will follow that man.